Hello there and welcome back to Painting with Martin. Today we're back with another how to play video and we're taking a look at a game called Hegemony, Lead Your Class to Victory. This is a game for 2 to 4 players and it was designed by Varnavas Timoteo and Vangelis Bagiartakis, I hope I pronounced that right, and it was published by Hegemonic Games. This is, as I said, a 2 to 4 player game. It has a solo mode in the expansion called Crisis and Control. I'm going to be referencing the Crisis Control expansion in this game, but it's going to be focusing mainly on the base game. So therefore, I'm not going to cover the solo expansion or the solo mode in this tutorial. So let's get started, shall we? Now, I am now going to show you how to set up the game. And as you can see here, it's a fairly large game. The goal of the game is to get as many victory points as possible. And you're going to be selecting one class and play as that class and try to score points based on that class. Now, as I said, this is a tutorial for 2 players. So one player will be the capitalist class and another player will be the working class. Now, as always, I try to make sure that any tutorial like this is quite comprehensive. But I'm bound to make a few mistakes, even though I'm trying my best here. And if you see that I make a mistake, please let me know in the comments and I'll try to correct it as soon as I can. I also appreciate if you can subscribe to my channel. And if you like these kind of videos and you want to learn more how to play good board games, well, games that I really like, then that's a good way to keep up. I also have to say that I'm in no way sponsored by Hegemonic Games. I bought this game with my own money and I thought I'd like to show you how it's played because in my opinion, it's a good game. So let's start with setup. And I'm going to be, first of all, referencing the rulebook. It's a pretty heavy rulebook. And I'm going to be reading from the setup just to make sure that I don't cover everything and making sure that I get everything right. So first of all, of course, place the main board in the center of the table. If you're playing a 2-player game, I recommend that you sit opposite. Like this one is going to be facing the table like this. But for this tutorial, I'm just going to show you how it looks like this, because then I don't have to run around the table too much. So after you've done that, place the 4 starting capitalist companies on the board, meaning supermarket, shopping mall, clinic, and college. And you see that it's the starting one because it has a little dot over there in the right-hand corner. Okay? Now, after you've done that, you take the public companies, and you can see that these ones have 2 dots in the corner. Sorry about the glare here. I'm not sure if I can see if I can show this one. Light is not that great because I'm not in my regular studio. So it has these 2 dots up here. So take these 2 dots and one in every color: red, orange, and purple. They're called public hospital, public university, and regional TV station, and place them up here. Now take the other public companies, and they have this card back over here like this, with this kind of like this gray background, and place them face down in a pile like this. So in red companies, orange companies, and purple companies like these. And then you can also place the wage marker in the yellow section over here as such, like this. Now when you've done that, then since this is a 2-player game, if you were playing with the middle class, please consult the rulebook to see how you do setup with this one. It's not that much complicated. Then what you do next is you shuffle the business deal deck, which is over here. Shuffle it and take out 1 business deal. Place it over here. After that, then you simply take the export deck, place it either next to the board, or as I did here, I place it on the board like this, and drew the first card on top of it and placed it. Now, after that, very easy, you shuffle the immigration deck and place it over here, like this. Now, then you place the policy marker on the tables. And the policy marker are these black ones over here. And you place them 1 in section 1C, 2B, 3A, 4B, 5C, 6B, and 7B. Can't go wrong there. Give 120 money to the state, even though no player, actually human player, is going to be playing the state. The state is still has an active role to play, And I'm going to be referencing the state throughout the game to make sure that you know what the state will do. Now, this is not going to be a full tutorial of the entire game. I'm going to show you one, maybe 2 rounds to show you how it's played, and not because I don't want to give you any spoilers. Also, place the lone deck next to the table, and also place health tokens. In a 2-player game, you play 5 health tokens here, 5 education tokens, and 3 influence token over here. These belong to the state and does not belong to any player. Now, also place everyone's scoring marker, like this one, blue for the capitalist player, should be like this, and red for the working class player. Then you simply make piles of all the food, luxury, and health resource and all that, as well as money. I'm using an insert. It doesn't come with the game, from Folded Space. That looks like this. That makes makes the setup of the game much easier. If you don't have this one, just make piles on the table. If you buy the deluxe version on Hegemony Games website, it actually comes with the game. So please keep that in mind. Now, group all the working class and middle class workers by color and type, which I've also done so over here, in this section over here, so it's already done. And then place the general player aids near the board. So you have a player aid over here for the capitalist class, and also for the working class over here. Now, you've mostly done with general setup. And it looks like this in the rulebook. Now I'm going to be giving you the tutorial for each player setup. Now, for each player setup, you take the components for the working class player and place it on the board. The voting tokens, place 1 token on the prosperity track. Take a total, I believe, of 30 money. So it's going to be 30 money. My mistake. 30 money here, like this, in the income section. And then you're going to be taking 3 red bill markers and your voting tokens and place them next to your board, like this. Okay, so take the 2 cooperative farms that you have over here. They're not going to be in play yet. Take your deck, take your strike tokens, your voting token, and your demonstration token, and draw 7 action cards from the top of the deck. Keep them hidden from any other player. Now, depending on the number of player, place working class workers on the following companies according to the slots of the cards. In a 2-player game, you place on the supermarket, you place a green and a grey worker, which is unskilled. Shopping mall, a blue and a grey. Public hospital, white and a grey. And public university, orange and should be a grey one. My mistake. Like this. Now, please note that all the workers must be placed in a standing position. Now, also place 1 working class unskilled worker or meeple in an unemployed workers area. And then you draw 1 immigration card and do what it says on it. In this case, you get 1 single worker. You ignore this one. This one is for the middle class. So you take 1 skilled worker, which looks like this. Unskilled workers are grey. Skilled have color. So you go like this. And then you have to increase your population based on the workers that are out on the board. So in this case, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you're going to be having 10 in your population, which is going to be over here. And that means you can see over here that it's 10. Right now, it's 10 like this. If you go up the track like this, it's going to be costing more and more resources to make those workers better. Now, when you've done that one, you're going to go over to the capitalist class. which is over here. You place it in the center of, well, place it right next to where you want to be playing. Get 120 money, quite a lot more, and place it in the revenue area. It looks like this, revenue area of your player board. Again, place a wealth marker next to the wealth table, which is like this, and take the rest of your work, these voting tokens, like this, and place them on the board. Place a voting token as well, just like you did with the working class player, and then gain 1 food, 2 luxuries, and 2 education, as well as 1 influence. I also forgot that the working class player also should get 1 influence cube on his or her board. I believe so. I think so. Let me see that. No, my mistake. Ignore that. Then you are going to be doing, let's see here, if I can show it like this. Take the capitalist action class, the deck, just like I showed you before with these ones. Draw 7 of them and keep them hidden from the other players. And also take the capitalist class companies, shuffle them, and draw 4 of them next to your board. These will be your market. Place also this little token here, the free trade zone, and place it next to your board. You have access to it. You also have access to these ones, extra player storage, but you have to buy them. Now, you are almost ready for playing the game. However, I do actually have to note that the resources in this game is, besides money, food, luxuries, healthcare, education, and influence cubes. Now, influence cubes also have to be done and added to a specific bag, looking like this. Now, you're going to be in a 2-player game. You're going to be adding 8 influence cubes of either color. So in this case, it's going to be 8 red ones adding to the bag, like this. 8 blue ones for the capitalist player, as such. And just to make sure it spices up a little bit, you're also going to add 8 yellow cubes, even though the middle class is not playing. If the middle class had been playing, you would have been adding these cubes as well. But you added this in a 2-player game as well. And you shake it up a little bit like this, and you place it next to the board. This was actually set up. Oh yeah, also, the round marker is placed on round number 1, of course, and the tax multiplier is placed on number 5, like this. I think I've covered everything for setup, so let's look at how you play the game. Now, Hegemony, the board game, is played over 5 rounds, and whoever has the most victory points after the 5 rounds are over wins Hegemony, the board game. Now, every round is played in 5 phases. The preparation phase, action phase, production phase, election phase, and scoring phase. Player will be taking turns between the players of playing cards, doing actions, and eventually you will be doing scoring. Now, the working class player always starts the game, and he or she will actually start by playing one of his or her action cards, looking like this. Now, you can either play the action card and do what it says on the card, or you can actually take a basic action by discarding an action card and do the basic action instead. Now, I also have to note that in the first round of the game, there is no preparation phase, of course, but in the preparation phase, you start by moving the round markers to the next spot. And then you simply take preparation steps pertaining to their role. Now, I'm going to right now guide you to what an example turn for the working class might be like. Okay, so keep in mind this is a tutorial. I cannot show you everything in it, in every single card. It's not the point of the tutorial, but I'm going to show you as much as I can without spoiling too much of the game. So, but let's start a little bit of looking at how do you score points in this game, because you need to know that for the working class. The working class has a prosperity track, And in this prosperity track, if you go up on the prosperity track, you will score points. And if you score points, you will actually hopefully win the game. You will also score 2 points in the scoring section for every trade union you have. Now, there are certain ways that you can mess with each other in this game, and it's quite a nasty game. You can be very, very nasty to each other in this game. The interaction is quite high. For the capitalist player, they are only about money. The more money they have in their capital, which will be moved from their revenue to their capital after they paid all taxes and salaries and all that, they will go up on this wealth tracker. And once they go up on this wealth tracker, they can't go down, and they will gain that many points where they are in their scoring section. So the more money they make into their capital, the more points they're going to be generating. Now, let's start as an example turn for what the working class can be doing. So now in the action phase, let's start with the first one. Let's play a card for what it is. Now, they are going to play this card called Proletarians of the World Unite. Add voting cubes to the bag equal to your population. Your population is right now 3, so you're going to be adding 3 voting cubes to the bag. And this will actually become very apparent why you should do that before an election. So you have these voting cubes, and you're going to be adding them to this bag over here. Like this. That means the working class is done with his or her first turn, and that means you discard the card that you played. Moving on to the capitalist player. Capitalist player has got a number of cards they can play, but they are going to be looking mostly at producing resources. They already have a little bit of resources, but they don't have enough. So they are going to be looking at, this one is quite nice. They are going to expand. So they can build 2 companies, and then they add 2 companies to their own market. So, have a little bit of cough, sorry about that. So they're going to simply be adding 2 companies. They're going to be building a clinic for 16. And I think they will go for the other pharmaceutical company here as well, like this. Now, when they do that, that means they will cost them 36. So that will be 40 money. And it pays back to the bank, not to the state. It's very important to keep them distinct. Now, new ones needs to be added to the market. 1 university and 1 supermarket. And that's the end of their turn. Moving over to the working class player. The working class player is going to be looking at, he has a boost domestic tourism. He can buy luxuries from another player up to his population, paying half the cost. The other cost is paid by the state. And if you look at this one, it has a requirement, 1A or 1B. And if you look at this one over here, he can't play that card because the marker over here is at 1C. So this one is not that great. So instead, what he's going to be looking at, you can discard this card, and you can actually see if you can simply discard it as a basic action. So what he's going to be doing is going to take these actions here, these workers here, and he's going to assign these workers to companies where he can assign them. So you can have the basic workers have to go in the grey slot here. You can't partially fill a company. You have to put them to make sure that the company is fully operational. Otherwise, it counts as non-operational. Now, these ones, a purple and a grey, means they can go here on the regional TV station. Once you assign them like this, they are committed. It means they can't be moved like this, and they also can't go on strike. And that means in the public sector, the state will be generating income for the working class player. That's the end of his turn. Moving over to the capitalist player. The capitalist player is going to be looking at buying and selling, of course. Sell one of my companies without a cog, which are these ones, for twice its cost. That's quite a nice investment. So he's going to take the company he just bought for 20 and sell it for 40, placing in the discard pile and getting 40 money back. That's quite a nice investment. Moving over to the capitalist player, working class player. He is going to be discarding a card because he doesn't want affordable housing. He doesn't want to pay 20 money for the capitalist class and to gain the points as these ones, or to the middle class because they're not in play. He's going to be discarding it and he's going to be doing a basic action. And what he's going to do is he's going to buy goods and services. Now, goods and services are very important because it allows him to bring in more workers and also educate the workers as well. So he's going to be buying from the state here. He can also buy from the capitalist player, from up to two sources, state and the capitalist player, and the middle class player if they were in play. So he's going to be paying healthcare. And healthcare right now costs between 0 and 10. You can see the price over here. On this section over here, it actually costs 5. If this one were to be moving over here, it would cost 10. If you move over here, it would be costing 0, which was really good. So he's going to be paying 5 healthcare as such, coming in over here. And that is actually going to be costing him 5 times 5, 25 money. So he has only got 30. So that's actually quite good. So he's going to be paying that and get 5 money back. You can think that that's pretty much the end of his turn, right? No, not really. Every player has what we call a free action. And for the working class player, you can use healthcare, use education, luxuries, you can swap workers, receive benefits if you're in a 4-player game only, and pay off a loan. This is not an action. So he's going to be doing that, of course. And he's going to be spending 3 healthcare, because that's what it costs right now. If his population is right here, it costs 3 to take this action. If it's over here, it costs 6. So it becomes more and more expensive the more workers you have. If you do this one, if you spend healthcare, it means you do gain a new unskilled worker. This one comes back over here. A new unskilled worker comes down over here like this. And that means this is a new worker. The worker add to the population to 11. You can easily count that over here. And that means the prosperity goes up from 0 to 1. And because you do that, you also get 2 victory points in addition to that. So once you move this one here, and you score it immediately. So that means as soon as you have this one, and you move it up like this, you score 1 victory point. Plus 2 bonus victory points if you did this action like this. So that means the working class player will be getting 3 victory points, jumping up into the lead. Now, the capitalist player really realizes that he has lots of money, but what is he going to do with all that money? Now, he doesn't really like that the labor cost is like so high. So he really thinks that he needs to start doing something about that. He's going to propose a bill and call for an immediate vote without spending influence tokens. Now, influence tokens can be spent to call for an immediate election. Otherwise, it's done in the election phase. And he's going to be doing that. He's going to be proposing the bill, and he can propose any bill he wants with the following restrictions. He can only go from one section to the other, so you can't go from taxation A to taxation C, unless you have a card specifically that says that. So he's going to be placing this mark over here, and to make sure that this is where he wants. And that means he's going to be proposing the bill, that's what he did, and called for an immediate vote. Now, for voting, you take 5 cubes from this one. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, this is right now, he has a majority of 3 versus 2. Since he did this one, he will win this one. Anyone else can actually add the influence cubes like these ones telling them, everyone, this is what they have in their hand, and doing like this, and then showing how much they have. Now, in this case, even if the working class player would have had 1 influence cube, it would be a tie. And since he proposed the vote, he would still win the vote. So this is really good for the capitalist player. That means the labor market moves immediately down over here to L1. This one is go back, and he gains 3 victory points for it. Really good play. Now the bad side with this one is that these ones go back to the supply. Because the working class player lost, they go back to the bag. So building the bag is important. As a free action, the capitalist player has several options. They can adjust prices of his goods and services over here. They can adjust wages as well. They can give a bonus to workers in a company that they own. And if they give a bonus of 5 money to the working class, they can't go on strike because they've been paid off, you know. They can buy storage, these ones, that adds extra 8 food storage or 12 of one of a kind. You can't mix and match with the place storage there. And that costs 20. You can, and you can also pay off a loan. Every loan is 50 money that you will have to take if you can't pay for anything. There's no choice of not taking anything. But he thinks he's going to lower the wages here. He doesn't like paying these workers for what they're supposed to get. So he's lowering it from 20 to 15. Now, if the wages would go up again to L2, that means the wages will have to automatically be adjusted. As a free action, he can only drop the wages in one company. That's the end of his turn. Now, the working class players, they really, really don't like this one. He could threaten to go on strike and place strike tokens in companies at the fear of not receiving wages, but then of course they won't produce. He could go on demonstration as well, but he can only go on demonstration if the number of your unemployed workers is higher than the number of available slots for them by 2 or more. There's only one unemployed worker, and there's lots of companies here, so he can't go on demonstration even if he really wants to. So what can he do instead? Now, he could play this cooperative farm here to make some food income, but he doesn't have enough workers for that. So, because it needs to be filled entirely. What he can do is he can propose 2 bills. So this is what he's going to be doing. Need for change. So he's going to be proposing 2 bills. Obviously, he's going to want to increase the wages again. And also, he really doesn't like, he's paying too much for this education here. So he's going to be placing this one over here. So that means in the election phase, that means they're going to be voting on this one. And once you placed your marker here, you can't actually, another player can't be placing his marker in that same policy. So why are policies very important? Now, for the working class player, in the end of the game, you would want to have all the policies here in the A section. For the middle class, all in the B, and for the capitalist player, all in the C. Now, that also includes all these ones as well. For the state, just going to mention it, the state is going to be looking at making everyone happy. And that's not that easy. But there are ways for the state. No, that's what they do. So as you can see, you start off with 7 cards. You're going to be playing 5 of them, and you can save 2 of them for the next round. So what they're going to be doing here now is that there's not much that the capitalist player can do. He could actually reveal political scandal and take 2 from another player, but they don't really have that much. They don't have anything, actually. So this is going to be discarding this card. And since these companies are non-operational, he doesn't really... Well, could he sell these ones? They're not operational. He will sell the clinic for 16. Oh, no. He's actually going to do something else. He is going to apply political pressure as one of the basic actions and add 3 voting queues back. Because he lost 3 before. they're coming back. Back to the working class. He's got 2 left, and since he started, and he's going to be, he could do this one. Place a skilled worker of your choice. Oh yeah, the capitalist player also, he's also going to adjust the wages here. So he's going to drop these ones to just in case, he's going to drop this one to 15 as well. He's going to be, he will cast this one away, save these ones to the next round, and then he's going to be assigning workers. He can assign up to 3 of your workers to companies and or trade unions, but you can also swap workers he can swap workers as the free action. That's actually quite nice. What will he do? He can't really buy any goods and services. What he will do that anyways. He will buy goods and services, but he doesn't really have that much. So, right. He's going to be spending no, it's too expensive to play for the education. Oh, too bad. He's just going to add 2 voting queues to the 3 voting queues to the back. He really wants to have his policies adjusted again, and he has a good chance of getting it. If you draw the yellow cubes, of course, they're just discarded. And as a free action, he's going to be. What can he do? He can swap workers. Yeah, all right. Yeah, he's going to take these ones and he's going to get the money from the capitalist player instead. He's going to put them over here in this one here in the clinic. Great. Fantastic. Because if the capitalist player sells that company, these people will be unemployed. Maybe they go on strike or demonstrate or something. They're very unhappy about that. Once you swap them, they are also committed. Now, last for the capitalist player, he's going to be taking this card here, and he's going to paying 20 to get a cog, or 45 to get 2. So he's going to be paying 20 to get 1 cog, and then he's going to be placing at one of his companies to produce more resources, only on operational ones. He's going to be placing it over here, since without a cog, it produces 6 healthcare, and with an extra one, it produces 2. So it's really good. And you can't stack them on top of each other. There's only 1 more cog. And then he's going to drop the wages, of course. And this one, select this. Has this free action. Now, he's keeping these ones, and we are now done with the action phase. Now, moving on, in this case, to the production phase. In production phase, the game reverses roles. So the capitalist player goes first. So in the production phase, you are simply going to do the following thing. And in this case, I'm going to take a look at my large player aid, like this one's over here. And in this case, I'm going to be, in the producing, I have to pay wages to everyone that I have employed here. So this one is going to be 15 plus 10, which is 25, plus another 15, that's 30, 40. $40, 40 money to the working class player over here. Fantastic. That means he's now going to produce resources. So he's going to produce 6 luxuries, 8 healthcare, and 4 food from the bank. So 4 food goes over here. He can either place it on the free trade section like this, and that means another player can't buy from here. But he's going to do exactly that. And it's going to be 6 luxuries. Keep in mind that there is a maximum here that you can install. And that means it was also 8 healthcare. Fantastic. Now, after you produced these ones, then you will simply go over to the working class player again. And they actually have to cover their needs. Oh no, what does that mean? Now, actually it means that they're going to have to pay food for their 3 population. Now, they can buy food from the capitalist player. They have 1 food over here and it costs 12. They can adjust the prices as such over here as a free action, but they can also buy from the state and by importing it. And in this case, the import price starts at 10. That if the policy over here is at B, that means as it's at 15. So 15 food from importing per food, or 12 from the capitalist player. Well, obviously it's going to be from the capitalist player first, but he has to cover all the needs, and there's no option not to. So it's going to be a total of 15, 30, 42. So 12 of those money goes to, so that's 12, goes 12, and he gets 8 back. That's 1 food. Fantastic. And that means, in addition to that, it needs to be 30 more. 20, 30. Fantastic. He could pay for the food, and the food is just discarded. You don't keep it from round to round. Now the needs have been covered. Fantastic. Good job, working class player. Unfortunately, it means right now, going back to the capitalist player, it means they have to pay taxes. Oh no, what are they going to do? That's terrible. Then that means they're looking at all their operational companies. Oh, by the way, we should also take a look at one thing as well that I forgot. The state also pays wages to the working class player. In this case, it is going to be, wages going to be set over here. 15, 30 from the state, like this. Very important, almost forgot. Now, the state, now the capitalist player will have to pay taxes. You pay two types of taxes in this step. The first is employment tax, which depends on the number of companies you own. And employment is the number of operational companies and the current tax multiplier. So let's take a look at that. Now, in this one, we are looking at 1, 2, 3 operational companies. And in this case, you take 3 times the multiplier over here, which is 5, 15. 15 is what he has to pay. So 15 goes like this. And he pays it, sorry, not to the bank, very important, to the state. Very good. Then they also have to pay corporate tax. And depending on the profits that you have, you have right now 20, 40, 60, 61. Looking at this one over here, you can see if the tax one over here is at 3A and I had 61, that means I have to pay 24 horrible taxes to the state in addition to that. So that's, let's do some maths here. So that's 20. And let's take 2 5s. Make it a little bit easier. So that's 25 to the state. He will give me 5 back. 3, 4, 5. He will give me 1 back, like this. Now taxes are done. Oh, that was easy. Almost all my money are gone. Oh, what will I do? Well, fortunately, the working class also have to pay taxes, and they pay taxes a slightly different way. They are looking at the taxation slightly easier. The more population they have, the more income tax they pay. And right now, we're looking at 3A, and we also have the employment is right now in 2C. 3A, 2C, which means, you have to pay 5 per worker. That puts it up at 15. So to the state, and like this. Fantastic. Now the capitalist player will simply now we are simply going into scoring phase. And scoring phase for the capitalist player is very easy. You are simply moving all your revenue to the capital. And right now we are moved 20, 30, 35, 36, 37. And we look at this track. We moved up to 10. We moved up to 25, but we didn't reach 50 yet. So that means we are right now going to score 2 victory points. And we're also going to, since we jumped 3 spaces, we're going to jump, every space you jump is 3 more victory points. So that's 3, 6, 8 victory points. No matter what happens, 6 to 9. No matter what happens, you never go down on this track, ever. So you're going to be scoring for the rest of the game 2 victory points in the scoring phase, no matter what happens. And if you move up over here, for example, you're going to be scoring 10. So the more you have in your capital and the more you move, the more points you're going to be scoring. Now, if you have less capital in future rounds, again, you don't move it to the left. If you cannot pay and you don't have anything in your revenue, you will take from your capital. Very good. Now, scoring phase for the working class is nothing because they don't have any trade unions. Otherwise, they will score 2 victory points per trade union in the step. How do you get trade unions? Trade unions is a bit tricky here because they are depending on which sector. There's green, blue, red, orange, and purple. And you need to have at least 4 workers in companies in that color. So regardless of where they are. So if there would be 1, 2, 3, 4, that means 1 as an action, you can discard a card and place 1 available worker that you have, and this has to be a white worker because it's healthcare, and place it over here. So that would be trade unions. And of course, if the company's sold, then they would become unemployed and you would lose the trade union as well. So that would be that. Now, since we've done the preparation phase and we've done the action phase, now very important is that we are going to be doing election phase as well. Now, I may actually have skipped overhead, so action phase. So yes, we are going to be doing election phase. Maybe I did it in the wrong order. Now, we're going to be looking at each section over here. So there are no election for the fiscal policy, but there is election for the labour market. Again, you're going to be drawing from the bag 5 cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, bad news for the labour market for the working class. I have 3, also have 1, they have nothing. So they are going to be losing this election, but they don't lose any points. And the capitalist players, since they didn't initiate the vote over here, they also don't gain anything. In other player counts, or if they would vote for the same one, the ever who would win would gain 3, and if there's another player that would vote with him or her, they would also gain 1 point. However, these ones go back to over here, and these ones go, this one is discarded, and this one goes to the bag. It stays at labour market L1. Now we'll look at this one here, welfare state education. Drawing 5 cubes from the bag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh. Even if I would add another one here, it would be a tie, and I would lose as the capitalist player. So they win this one, and that means they move this one up over here. They move this one down over here. They move it back to the player board. They put these ones back in the supply. These ones are discarded. My mistake right now, and they would gain 3 victory points. 1, 2, 3. Now, I made a mistake right now. You should also add cubes to the bag before you do elections. Now, for the capitalist player, they add the number of cubes divided by half for the number of operational companies rounded up. So here you have 1, 2, 3 divided by 2. It will be a total of 2 cubes will be added to the bag before election. Sorry about that. And for the working class, it's based on the population divided by 2. So if it will be 4, it will be the same as 3. So it will be 2 anyways. Now, in this case, we are done with elections. Nothing else was happened, and we are simply moving over to the preparation phase. Now, in the preparation phase, there are certain things that happens. We didn't do the preparation phase because it skipped in the first round. So I will simply decide, I will simply go, scoring phase will be done after the election phase, so my mistake as well, sorry about that. Now, in this case, in the preparation phase, you are simply going to be moving the round marker to the next spot, like this. And right now, we are going to be doing each player performs the steps pertaining to their role. So in case of the working class player, in the preparation phase, they pay an interest on loans. They drop prosperity. So they drop it to 0 if they were on 1, so they have to move up there again. And they draw action cards up to 7, so they can be drawing up to 3 and 2 more. And also, the get new workers and adjust population. They add 2 unskilled workers, and then they check the immigration policy. So they're going to be coming in more immigration, 2 unskilled, which is really good for their cooperative farm, and they draw their immigration policy. Right now, there is another unskilled immigration. So if there would be, say, another one here, could be another one like this. So this is what came out. So another unskilled worker. So they're going to have to spending education to get these ones out. Now, once you've done this one, it's time for the capitalist player. They can clear any cards here they have in their market that they don't want. Oops, sorry about this. Let's see here if I get it right. They have to pay interest on the loans, $5 money on the interest, if there is. Draw action cards, which is going to be 5 new action cards. That's 3, and that is 2. And that means reveal new companies. Discard any number of companies from your market. You don't have to if you don't want to. I'm going to be discarding these 3, so you know what there will be different ones. The national broadcasting, as you can see here, this one will... not from these ones. There you go. Here you go. It has to have this card back, by the way. So it's going to be supermarket. It's going to be automated dairy farm and a hotel. Oh, nice. Interesting. And that means draw new business deals and export cards. And I'm going to be doing this one, taking this one away. I haven't shown this one, so I'm going to show this one just in case you will see how it works. Discard this one over here. Goes like this. Goes like that. Okay, and you're ready for a new round. Now keep in mind, you don't have any money, because and that's a problem. But let's start with a working class player. I'm not going to play the full round here. I'm just going to show you a few things that weren't done. So there are some new workers here. So right now, he's going to be playing his cooperative farm card. If there are at least 3 unemployed workers, build a cooperative farm and assign 3 of the workers right there. So he's going to be doing this one. He's going to be playing this one over here and taking 3 workers and assigning them here. That means he will produce 2 food in his when it's production phase, and that means he's going to be paying less for the food, which is really good. That was his action, and he doesn't want to do a free action, I think. It could swap workers. By the way, also, all workers are standing up here, starting off standing up. They are not committed. But once he built it, they are committed. No free action, and that means the capitalist player will do something quite interesting. And this is actually quite nice. He's going to be doing this one here. I'm going to be showing 2 options here that you can do to gain more money. You can do foreign partner, which means you make a business deal. Then you may sell food and or luxuries to the foreign market. He has a requirement of either 6B or 6C, and we meet that requirement. So if you do that and play that card, that means this business deal is up on the table. That means he will pay 10 of these ones, and he actually has 3, 6, 8. He actually has 10. No, he has 3, 6, 8. So he can't perform this business deal. If he would have paid this business deal, he would have received 40 money, and he would also have to pay a tariff to the state based on the section over here. So if the section here would have been at an A, he would have had to pay 20 to the state, only earning him to earn 20 money. If it would have been in B, that means he would have paid only 10. And if it would have been in C, there would have been no tariff at all. However, if it's in C, that means there are 2 more business deals coming out. If it's in A, there are no more business deals. And so how does this influence it? Because it influences the import section over here. The higher it is up here at A, the more expensive it is for the working class player to buy food and luxuries. And if it's in C, the cheaper it is. So different things. You can starve the working class player out. But he's going to do this one. He's going to sell to the foreign market. And the way this works is that then you may also sell food up to 4 each for 15 each. He has 4 food. So he's going to be selling 4 food for 45 money. If he had 8 more food, he could have also sold for both of them. But you can only do 2 of them here. So I believe so. 4 that nets him at 45 money, and he really needs that money. So 45 money comes in from the supply, not from the state, and no tariffs because it's exporting and no business deals. And then he's going to take 3, 6, 8 of these luxuries and selling it to the export for 40 as well. That means he right now has a good amount of money that he can actually use. And he doesn't have any free action, doesn't have any loans, doesn't have things that he wants to do. So he goes up to the working class player. Now, I'm not going to cover everything like this. I think I've covered most of these things, but let's talk a little bit about a few things that the working class player can do as well. Now, he's going to discard one of his cards, and he's going to be simply buying education. It costs 5 each, so it's going to be costing 3. That's 5, that's 25. And he doesn't have enough. So that means he has to take a loan. So he pays what he has, so that's 10, 15, 18, and he has to pay 7 more. And he buys it from the state. So he places it over there. Maybe I made a mistake before and placed in the supply. Hopefully I didn't. So he played 18, but he needs 25. He needs to take a loan. So he will take a loan, and that nets him 50 money immediately. So 10, 50, and he needed to play 10 more. 7 more. So 10 goes like this to the state, and that nets him for 3 less, 3 more. Now he can convert these, take these ones here. He could also buy from the capitalist player as well, but it costs him 8, so he doesn't want to do that. And he also would net him more money, potentially more points. So no thank you. He could take these education and simply do like this. Now he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. He should actually be at 14, so he actually has to pay some more money. Yeah, I think you made so 4 times 5, 20. 4 times 5 is 20. 3 times 5 is 15. Yeah, okay. So maybe I made a mistake with the total money, but I think you get it. Here, I'm not very good at maths, so I shouldn't probably be playing this game anyways. So in this case, he takes these 4 education and discards them back to the supply, and he can convert any worker, even if it's an unemployed or existing worker, to a color that he wants. So in this case, I think he's going to convert this one to a purple one. It goes like this. And that's what he did. Because he actually did, since he upgraded one of my workers, he gained 1 prosperity, and he actually did. He actually gained one population, one prosperity, and that means he nets him 1 point. Like this. Oops. Like this. It goes like that. All right. Oh yeah. So also this one was discarded. This one goes back into his hand. Now that's the end of his working class turn. Now let's take a look at one thing that the capitalist player hasn't done yet, and it's quite important. He's simply going to discard one of his one of his cards, just show it to you, and he's going to he could do this. You can sell up to 9 education for 10 each. Now, very important. Oh, we forgot one thing. The state also produces in the production phase. They produce 4, and they produce 3 of these. Four of these. Very, very important. See, I'm not very good at these tutorials. I hope you forgive me. They don't produce anything because it's not operational. So there would have been a little bit more. There can be a maximum here. Max production, which is here 4 plus 6. It can be a maximum here of 10, depending on what is being produced here. Now, he is actually going back to the capitalist play. He could actually sell, but that number here cannot exceed the max number over here. So it could be good, it could be bad. Now, one thing that he hasn't done, and that is he's going to discard a card, and he'll discard this card over here, and he'll take a basic action, and he's going to buy this automated grain farm. And it costs 25, and he has that easily. And once he does that, it counts as operational, but has no workers on it. It cannot go on strike, cannot be demonstrated against. It will always produce 2 food, and you also can't place any cogs on this one here as well. So very important. These are very, very powerful, but they're also quite expensive. Like they produce 2. This one produces 4. This one costs 25. This one costs 16. But also this one has workers on it. So very important. Now, if this would be the end of the game, let's look at final scoring. If final scoring would be happening right now, we would be playing until the 5th round, and you are simply going to game end. You are going to looking at policies right now. Right now, the capitalist player will be getting. They have 2 over here, and the working class only has 1. The working class player will score 1 point, and you can see over here how many you score. If you have 1 in that section, it's 1. If you have all of them, it's 18. The capitalist player has a little bit more. So he is going to be scoring a total of 4 points. The capitalist player will also gain victory points for resources they have, and you can add them up together as well. 1 point for every 2 food, and 1 point for every 3 of the others. The working class player will score victory points based on the 1 point for every 10 remaining that you have, up to 15. 15 victory points. So, and that will be the end of the game. Now, this was quite a comprehensive run through of Hegemony, the board game for 2 players. I made plenty of mistakes. I'm really sorry about that. Probably should have planned it better. Probably should have scripted it. But that's what it's like when it's me, and I also have severe ADHD as well. So there you have it. I'm going to mention a few things about the 2 expansions. So in the expansions, you have one called Crisis and Control, which adds an automa. It adds more action cards. And in the setup of the game, each player is going to be getting 2 hidden agendas. You will select one of them, and he will play one of them as it is. So, for example, here, towards a neoliberal state, it needs to have all of these ones, and have at least 3 neoliberal policies, and any time after the first round you can play it and score 4 victory points. One of the working class has to have up to 7 population. Have a population of 7 or less, and at the end of the game they score 5 victory points. That's what they do. One of these will be played. The other expansion is called historical events. Historical events is very interesting. You build a deck, and each deck is comprised of a total of 6 cards. As you can probably see here, this is what they look like. 6 cards, but there are 5 rounds. So how does this work? Now, you will take 1 card of the prehistoric ones, such as the French Revolution here. Then you will have, looking at the top here, then you see here that it has 1 here. And then you will place the 1 card face down. And then, of course, underneath it, you will place a card of number 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you will form a deck as such, like this. Randomly, of course, and without looking at the events in advance. Before you apply the first round, you open it up and you see what it says. At the end of setup, have each class in order propose a bill. That's what it does. It says over here, for instance, this one here has references the state player. Start the game without any personal influence cubes. That's what they do. Moving on, and then you set up the game as normal, but it may influence the game severely. Policies may change. There are certain things that may alter the game, and so on and so forth. Now, there is also, for example, this one here. This one has a requirement. There is at least 1 company with a cog, such as this one. This would be an example for that. The trigger is when the blue player, the capitalist player, when they take a free action, the effect of that free action would be that luxury companies, when they take a free action, it could be, for example, adjusting wages. And the effect would be luxury companies, the effect of this free action, instead of the regular action that they would take as free action, would be the luxury companies with the cog will produce 3 extra luxuries this round. So if the cog here would be here, then this would be ideal. Of course, this can trigger until the end of the round, so they actually have a chance to actually improve it. Once you place a cog, you also can't move it. So very, very important. Once you place the cog, very, very good. Now, all of these things add very good things. This one did good things for the capitalist player. This one did here things for the working class, and the middle class did really bad things. Moving on here, for example, the post-war rise of consumerism. That means you may buy, the effect here where you might buy luxuries up to half of your population, which is really good. And that means certain things, sometimes they will trigger, sometimes they won't. Okay? So this is really adds more of a variety to the game, I believe. I have played it with this one. I really wouldn't play the game without it, in my opinion. Certain things to think about when you play the game. First of all, if you're playing in a 2-player game, the fiscal policy normally doesn't matter. However, here it says here, like this one over here, that there will be right now 3 public companies over here. If this one would go over here, there would be 6 public companies. These one would open up. And of course, this one over here would be 9. Here it would be that the state can only have 1 loan. If they would be moving up and they have 2 loans and they can't pay them off, the IMF would be intervening, and this is a massive game-changing event. I'm not going to go into details of when it happens, but it says in the rules, if you see that it's going to happen, warn everyone, state is about to go bankrupt. Please think about this, guys. In terms of taxation, there is a 3 section here. It starts at 3, and then it has a multiplier for these ones. So 3, this one would be 2, and this one here is at 1. So 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 1 is 2. So 2, 4, 7. So this one should have also increased up to 7. If this one would be here, for example, it would be 3 as a base, 2 times 2 is 4, so that would be 7, plus 2 would go up to 9. If this one would be over here, and over here, and over here, it would be 1, 0, 0, 0. So it would be 1. Keep in mind of the taxation. It affects all players. And of course, if the state doesn't get money, they might take loans, IMF might intervene, the game will be catastrophic for the state and for many players as well. Very, very important. As the strategy for the capitalist player, produce, sell, produce, sell. Now, very important, keep your labor costs low and don't be afraid if they strike, because you can always aim for these ones, the automated companies. For the working class, make sure that you get trade unions if you can, upgrade your workers to gain prosperity, because if the prosperity would be, for example, over here, you only drop it one step. Every time you take prosperity, you go and gain 6 fixture points plus any bonuses. Very important. And get your cooperative farms up and running, because that means you produce food and you will be less depending on the other players. Very important, I think I missed it a few times. The state produces resources as well. The working class can buy influence from the state at 10 each to their personal supply. Also, when you do corporate taxes, the taxes are paid to the state, not to the supply. Very important. And finally, as this mistake I made in the game, before you do election, add cubes to the bag based on the population for the working class divided by 2, rounded up, and for the capitalist player, add voting queues based on the number of operational companies that you own, divided by 2, rounded up. Now, this was a long and very comprehensive tutorial of Hegemony, the board game. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to see more tutorials like these, and you want to learn how to play board games, and also besides watching me how to paint miniatures and stuff, subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much for being with me for a long time, for this one, for over an hour. Pat yourself on the back. Go and have a nice cup of tea, wherever you are. Thank you very, very much for watching and for supporting me on my channel. It means the world to me. Have a wonderful night, wherever you are. Thank you and goodbye.